last year we did the cohort of learning. This year we're opening it up part two for any school division. You don't have to have participated in year one to do this. We have a partnership with Virtual Virginia, and then we've partnered with ALP. They did such a great job last year. And the comments and feedback from last year have been outstanding. So of course we picked ALP to move forward. So I'm going to introduce Dr. Sarah Warnick from Virtual Virginia. We're going to be great partners in this work. So Sarah?
Thank you so much, Amy. Nice to meet you all, and thanks for taking time this afternoon. At Virtual Virginia, we're so proud to be partnering with VAS and ALP on this project. And our role is to really help to make sure that Virginia Public School divisions have access to all of the training materials. So we'll be in on the design and formatting piece and making sure that that gets out to everyone so that you can then take those wonderful materials that ALP is developing and use them in your divisions. And so without any further ado, I'm going to introduce Amos Vodchuk, who will talk about the project itself.
Thank you so much, Sarah. Thank you, Amy and Cindy, for hosting this seminar, and to my colleagues, Rachel Fruin. And I thought I saw Alex here. Is Alex here? Yeah, he is. Alex Dennison is here as well. So in chat, I am sharing the link to a slide deck that will allow us to follow along on the information. The the purpose of this seminar is to provide information for how school divisions can practically access this opportunity to provide high quality virtual learning sessions for classroom educators and support staff that include coaches of various roles, and also any other support staff that are directly related to classroom instruction. And so I hope that you all can see my screen. Is that looking good? Okay, groovy. The whole point of AI Part 2 into the classroom is to provide just-in-time support through virtual courses made available through the Canvas platform for Virginia educators, support staff, and coaches. Our goal is to ensure that the course content remains aligned to critical standards, while also remaining highly flexible for divisions that may choose to use this content in their own ways. We also want to ensure that we're not just making resources or virtual courses available, that we're also providing support to Virginian division teams, so that they have the ability to operationalize this content efficiently, and without any lack of clarity. The whole point here behind this effort, similar to Gen 1, when we did our Year of Learning initiative with division leadership, is that we are not mandating any practice, nor are we endorsing any products or tools. This is really focused on competency-based, pedagogically driven approaches to instruction and student learning. And we're providing guidance at the beginning, intermediate, and advanced levels for how to incorporate emerging technologies like AI. And so, who is leading this work? We led with that introduction. VAS is the program sponsor, providing content oversight and access to the superintendent network. ALP is serving in the design, development, facilitation, and maintenance of the virtual course content. And then Virtual Virginia is providing an invaluable role in making this content available freely, easily, and accessibly through the LMS platform made available to all Virginia divisions. If your division is interested in using this virtual course content, this is what we anticipate you will receive. You'll receive a three-tiered asynchronous portfolio of courses. We will have better titles for them by the time that they become publicly available, but we're really trying to meet educators where their skill and comfort levels are. And that means that we're going to work backwards from educator AI competencies that allow for research-backed pedagogical approaches to using emerging technologies like AI at the introductory level, the intermediate, and the advanced levels. We're going to provide train the trainer sessions virtually for each of the 8 superintendent regions to ensure not only that division teams have the experience and the knowledge to leverage this content well, but to network and provide opportunities to work together where that's appropriate and desired. Everything that is made available to divisions will be at no cost and will be freely available to any and all Virginia divisions and will include toolkits, slides, workshop materials, as well as the Canvas instances of the courses. We'll be engaged in some iterative refinement. So once these modules go live, we'll be seeking feedback from participating divisions so that we have the ability to further update them in the spring and early summer. And that puts us in a position to have the best possible content for Virginia educators by Virginia educators. Within the promotional, within the resources that we make available to participating divisions will also include some marketing and communication assets to support Virginia divisions as they make these courses available in whatever formats they desire. And at the end of the day, we're really trying to provide something practical, responsive, and strategic that augments educator literacy across the Commonwealth through this initiative. I did mention briefly the tiers or the learning paths that we're going to make available in Canvas through these virtual courses. I'm just going to provide you with a very quick overview of how we anticipate the beginner, intermediate, and advanced courses will kind of organize themselves. At the tier 1 or beginner level, we're really focusing on a basic understanding of AI, data privacy, ethics, and guidance already made available through the Virginia Department of Education and other entities that provide this level of clarity. The outcome of the beginner course is that educators will develop an awareness and a confidence to engage with AI responsibly without necessarily having to adopt specific tools. Pedagogically, they'll have the foundational knowledge and confidence to move forward into an intermediate path that would allow educators to move from awareness to classroom application. This will be much more hands-on, much more design-oriented, focused on the integration of AI in appropriate contexts, the intersection of curriculum and assessment planning as it relates to student learning in the classroom using AI, while also maintaining ethical oversight around professional judgment, compliance, local control that individual divisions may exercise through their own frameworks and guidelines. And then tier 3, which is something I think we're going to be really excited to see Virginia educators lean into. It's a much more application-based, comprehensive approach to learner-centered education models that include the purposeful use of AI alongside other learner-centered pedagogies that really kind of blur the lines between AI as a technology tool versus a learning catalyst. So I want to make sure that if anyone has questions, that I can either address them now or we can address them at the end of this presentation. Don't hesitate to pause me. I'm happy to answer them alongside my colleagues in real time. But the whole way that this will roll out will be through a train the trainer session that all Virginia divisions will be expected to register for and successfully complete. We'll be looking for 2 AI leaders or 2 points of contact for each participating division to serve as our points of contact between March and October of 2026. The responsibilities that VAS and Virtual Virginia will reinforce across participating divisions is a fairly low lift. It's really focused on ensuring that participating divisions complete the train the trainer session, provide an overview of how they anticipate to use the virtual courses, and then to periodically provide feedback to surveys that allow VAS and Virtual Virginia to see how these resources ultimately end up finding their way into Virginia divisions and schools. In the fall, VAS will promote this partnership at its fall conference. And so I know that VAS and Virtual Virginia will also be asking participating divisions to share a small number of artifacts that come out of their application of these tools in order to ensure that we have a strong understanding of how Virginia divisions ended up using this valuable guidance. For your information, the regional Train the Trainer sessions will take place on these March and April dates. If for whatever reason you, in your assigned regional Train the Trainer window, if one or more of your division AI leads cannot participate, you are more than welcome to join another date and another time with another region. But the spirit of having these regional Train the Trainer virtual sessions is to provide just-in-time access to the facilitators' materials and ensure that we can answer any questions that divisions will have, while also providing your communities in your divisions in your region with the opportunity to network, share insights, and or commit to any other type of collaboration that you might choose to engage in. What will be happening between now and late April, when all participating divisions will have full access to the course content, is that ALP and Virtual Virginia and VAS will be working with the cohort of divisions to secure feedback on the content. What you will receive in April will be very high quality and will be ready for outward-facing audiences. But in order for VAS and Virtual Virginia to deliver the best possible products, we did want to retain some bandwidth to update the courses on the basis of feedback that you provide us in May and June. And so we'll be working behind the scenes to do that work. The advantage to divisions is that you don't have to assume the leadership role or the management role of updating the content until after June, when this initiative completes. In order for a division to participate, there are a couple very simple steps. One will happen this coming Wednesday when the superintendent's memo goes out. There will be a superintendent's commitment form. And that commitment form essentially deputizes the district or the division to seek access to the virtual course content and introduces VAS and Virtual Virginia to two AI points of contact that can serve as our communication and implementation leads between March and October of 2026. We'll also provide Virginia divisions who do sign up for this initiative with all the resources they need to promote these virtual courses for their staff, for their divisions, as well as to further customize it to suit their needs. What will happen after June of 2026 is that participating divisions may reuse, adapt, or localize all virtual course content. And the partnership that your division has with Virtual Virginia and VAS will continue until September 30th by virtue of any surveys or requests for educator generated artifacts that they can complete for the purposes of showcasing the growth of Virginia divisions and or completing a program evaluation report at the end of this initiative. All these materials will be delivered in an appropriate Creative Commons designation that will allow for repurposing. As I mentioned before, the full asset package will be available. And for the small number of divisions that do not use Canvas, Virtual Virginia stands ready to work with you in the event that you may elect to use that course content in Canvas or seek alternate approaches. And that's essentially what this initiative is. In a nutshell, what Into the Classroom is not is a requirement to adopt specific AI tools. It is not a surveillance or evaluation mechanism, and it is not in place, and it's not replacing instructional judgment or leadership discretion. What we are working very hard to provide Virginia educators are shared language and guardrails for the appropriate, safe, and learner-centered usage of emerging technologies like AI, providing division and school leaders with informed local decision-making capacity, and working to mitigate risk through policy-aligned practice that is anchored in the competencies that underscore these virtual course opportunities. So the next steps for Virginia leaders are very straightforward. Starting on Wednesday, Virginia divisions will have, through their superintendent, the opportunity to identify AI leaders. If you are on this call and you are not a superintendent, then be on the lookout and don't be afraid to reach out to your colleague after they receive the notification. All participating divisions will need to nominate a minimum of 2 AI leaders to represent their division going forward. Start thinking about how these virtual courses will fit into and or amplify existing division structures. We know that plenty of divisions have already embarked assertively on their journey to build AI literacy for teachers and support staff. But we also know that the range of readiness across Virginia's divisions is fairly wide. And so we stand ready to answer questions and or provide you with guidance once you've had a chance to think through how these courses might be strategic and keep you from having to reinvent the wheel. And finally, don't be afraid to communicate throughout your own networks that AI Part 2 Into the Classroom is available. We're excited about making it available to Virginia's educators and that it is a form of support. By no means is it a mandate. And so these are the humans at VAS, at Virtual Virginia, and at ALP who will serve as your primary points of contact for any needs throughout the duration of this initiative. So do not hesitate to reach out to Amy, Sarah, or myself, or members of our teams as we get into this work with you. So that brings us to the end of what I have to imagine was the most dynamic and incredible presentation you've ever heard.
I was going to say, Rebecca has put in, is there a cost associated with participation? There's not a cost for school division other than depending if whoever the division selects as the trainer, the only cost I could think of is if you need to bring in someone to do the work, their job while they're doing the trainer. But that's the only cost I can think of because these are all virtual sessions. So just want to kind of repeat what Amos is, and then you can come off mute and ask questions. That's what this is about, so you can answer any questions. So on Wednesday, in the superintendent newsletter from VAS at 7 o'clock, the link will be in there for divisions to start applying to I guess I don't want to say apply because everyone who does it is going to get in. So to say they're participating, to certify they're participating on Wednesday, and we'll leave that open for the whole month of February. I think is what we said, Amos, right? Did we say February? Yep. So February people can sign up. The superintendent needs to fill out the form and identify the 2 people that are going to be the trainers. They'll attend the train the trainer, and once they attend the train the trainer, they get access to these courses. And then based on what you do in the trainer, we will want to see how you're going to roll these out in your school division, kind of the division plan for rollout. And it's not to say we're going to check up on you. It's to house the plan so different divisions can see how all the different ways they're being implemented. That's one of the great things from year one. One of the great things that came out of that is all those shared resources and artifacts for people to say, hey, we haven't thought about that. We want to take that and adopt it. So and then, through the time, any kind of artifacts that might come out of your rollouts and what's going on in the classrooms that will showcase at the fall conference. So we're very excited to have a part 2. Part 1 was just really excellent. I mean, we had people who sometimes say they don't like professional development, it's boring, they don't like it, saying it was the best professional development they've ever had. They had no emergency calls to take at the moment, fake emergency calls to take at the moment, that they really enjoyed it. So, okay, I'm gonna stop talking and you all ask away, ask your questions.
Amy, in the chat, someone said, is the regional training limited to one person? And Rachel responded, I just want to have this for the recording, 2 people per division. So 1 or 2
Yeah.
people per division.
And I like what Sarah put in here too. The resources are all being shared through Canvas, which is free to divisions as well. So yeah, great point.
Actually, one of my questions. So just to clarify, so it is limited to 2. At one point, I thought I heard a minimum of 2 for the division, but it's limited to 2.
Yeah, so I think we'll work with you on the regional training sessions. That like the train the trainer session is an hour long, and if there's a strategic reason for a division to bring in a larger team, no problems at all for those train the trainer sessions. In order for the logistics to work well between VAS, Virtual Virginia, and ALP and the participating divisions, we would ask that each division nominate 2 points of contact. If for whatever reason you feel like you need more, just let us know. I worry a little bit about 1 point of contact just in the event that that person is indisposed. We don't have a secondary.
Mhm.
But the goal is to have a couple points of contact that can that can represent the division through the initiative. We're
Okay.
happy to work with you if you need other circumstances.
Okay. And then the other question I had, did I hear that in implementation, like the following year, like as you're rolling out with staff, that the modules that you would roll out with staff would need to be completed by September 30th of the following year? Is that what I
Yeah,
heard?
yeah. What we're hopeful for is that Virginia divisions lean in this spring when they have access to the professional learning content. Some of them may choose to go live with it in real time. Others may choose to launch it over the summer or the fall. So, however divisions choose to use it is the right decision. And and what VAS and Virtual Virginia want to ensure is that by or before September 30th, um, they've received 2 or 3 pulse checks from participating divisions that just provide a line of sight on what the intended use was versus the emerging versus the actual. And some divisions are going to get further down that trajectory than others, and that's okay. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
And I see this question, and Cindy, we might need to, I'm not with the form. So Emily wants to know, so do the two people that are listed to attend the train the trainer, do they have to be the point of contact? And I don't think they necessarily have to be. Like if you want the point of contact to be someone that's not doing the training, Cindy, we would just need to make sure, and it might already be on there, make sure it's clear on the form. Here's the point of contact, and here are the 2 people that are trainers. Does that make
Yes.
sense?
If there needs to be a different point of contact, I think that's okay. I guess if that person's going to coordinate who's attending, the superintendent is not going to be the main point of contact, right? The superintendent is going to be the one who says, these are the 2 people I want to participate. So the superintendent will name those 2 people. And then I guess once we have those 2 people named, this is how I'm thinking of responding to this best. Once we know the 1 or 2 people who are going to be the trainers, we'll have their contact information. We'll begin reaching out to those folks. If they want to name a different point of contact, I don't see a problem with that. I guess it's just I don't think the superintendent's the point of contact. The superintendent's going to let us know who the trainers are.
No. The whole point of having the superintendent's authorization is that what we learned from the Year of Learning initiative is that divisions will have far greater impact if they see the emergence of AI as an organizational change initiative as opposed to a technological initiative. And so we believe that that remains the case here. And so by ensuring that we have senior leadership committing to, in good faith, because you haven't seen the virtual course content yet, committing to, in good faith, the usage of this content in some way then the 2 points of contact are largely administrative, representing the division. On the train the trainer day, you can have 2 different people there. It would be a good idea for one or more of the administrative points of contact to be on just for continuity purposes, but we'll come up with all those decisions. You'll come up with all those decisions as we get further into this work. Rebecca, I saw you had your hand up earlier. Hello.
I hope I didn't miss this. I apologize. Can you further explain the role of the train the trainer? Because I think I'm understanding that there are, if I heard correctly, there are these asynchronous courses that will be offered and available to teachers. So what will be the role of the train the trainer folks who participate in that? And then can you tell me a little bit, if it hasn't been designed completely, that's okay. But I see the tier 1, the tier 2, and the tier 3 are those 3 different courses, and the length of time it would take to complete those courses. Just trying to think through about rollout.
Yes. Okay.
Thank
So
you.
great question. You did not miss that. So Rebecca, the whole point of the train the trainer sessions is to just maximize the fidelity of the virtual courses that will be made available by ensuring that Virginia divisions understand the full capacity of the virtual courses. So within an hour, the train the trainer session will provide district leadership, whoever it is that is assigned that role, to understand how the AI competencies factor in, so that we're looking at this not from a learning, like we're looking at this from a capacity building perspective, and that divisions understand how these virtual courses can be facilitated virtually asynchronously, virtually synchronously, by divisions if they so choose, right? We also want to ensure, because we're going to build in some micro PD within the context of each one of these courses, within an hour, we just want to ensure that Virginia divisions understand how powerful and how well designed this content is, and how that will allow for powerful customization for divisions. That's essentially what the train the trainers for. We also want to sign off on ensuring that the handoff. We know that when a train the trainer session happens and it's grounded in the purposeful kind of exchange of practice, that there's a higher likelihood that divisions will actually use the content to their full potential. That's why we have the train the trainers.
Mhm. And in my mind, the train the trainer is learning about just what's exactly in the modules. And I think there's going to be like a guide too. Like, so if you're just doing it, if you're planning professional development, what might that look like as far as relicensure points, that kind of thing. So they can come back to you and as a division and a division team and say, okay, here's all the content, here are the recommendations. Now, what do we want to do as a division to implement this? How would we roll this out?
Mhm.
We'll have some recommendations for go to this page in Canvas and add your division guidelines. So you can, the trainer will also include localizing the materials as well.
And then the courses themselves, that tier 1, tier 2, tier 3, they take several hours to complete, they take several months to complete. What's
Yeah.
the rough?
So you asked that question. Apologies for not answering
That's
it.
okay. No problem.
So what's happening right now is we have a survey that we've made available for any and all Virginia educators to provide feedback. The survey should not take more than 5 minutes. We have AI educator competencies that we're going to design these courses on, but we also want to ensure that we have the voice of Virginia educators as we design the content. So we're waiting to hear back from Virginia educators. We anticipate at this point that, and Sarah, we discussed this last week, so I just want to make sure I'm not misspeaking here. We anticipate that the beginner, intermediate, and advanced application courses, we anticipate that the beginner course will be at or around 5 hours of teacher time to complete. We anticipate that the intermediate could be anywhere between 5 and 10 hours to complete, and we anticipate that the advanced course could take upwards of 10 hours to complete. but we're waiting to hear back from Virginia educators before we formalize exactly how many contact hours we estimate the content will take. Does that sound accurate, Sarah?
It does. And divisions are going to have the ability to edit and make any changes. So if you have things that you want your teachers to focus on, you can add to it. You can unpublish certain aspects if you want to hold off and maybe shorten it and make it more bite-sized. So you'll have full access to make those decisions.
And this is one question they might be thinking about when someone brought up the deadline. So that September 30th, if their division plan is going to roll this out, like they're going to do beginner, I don't know, first quarter, they're going to do, I'm just making stuff up. Don't take this as this is the way the plan should be. Okay. I'm just making
Yes.
stuff up. Intermediate is going to be second quarter, and then advanced is third quarter, or some people might jump to the, so it's okay for them to implement those courses after September 30th, correct? It's not like they have to complete everything by September 30th.
100%.
The division plan needs to be like how you're going to use it by then. Yeah.
100%.
I want to make
Our
sure people
goal,
don't think they've got to finish by September 30th.
no. Our goal is to provide, again, when VAS elected to invest in the capacity of senior division leaders across the Commonwealth through the Year of Learning initiative, that was among the first of those efforts across the country or even the continent. And a statewide approach to professional learning support for educators through Virtual Virginia and VAS is, again, one of the first statewide opportunities for educators and support staff to receive aligned, standards-based, and competency-anchored professional learning around AI literacy. So what we're trying to do is make these resources available to divisions to try in the spring, if it's convenient, to iteratively refine them between then and the end of June, and then to make them freely available for Virginia divisions to use them as they see fit, provided that they went through the initial kind of train the trainer component, and they commit to completing some of that survey data. This will be freely available to any division. They just have to go through those simple steps to ensure fidelity of use.